Hello and good morning and welcome to your Thursday maths lessons. Today we'll be looking at years, months, weeks and days. As you can see on this first slide, I've got some helpful information for you. I would recommend that whatever you're working on, you write these three statements down as they'll help you answer your questions. Also, I would have a diary near you as it's going to help with working out days of the month. See, I've got my diary here. First question I would like to do is to complete the statements. There are blank days in January. There are blank months in half a year. There are blank days in 5 weeks, 3 days. Pause the video here and have a go to see if you can work out the answer. For the first one, if you have a diary next to you, the answer is 31 days in January. However, what if you didn't have a diary? Here's a little trick that I learnt last year, which involves your knuckles. I'm going to count up from January to December on my knuckles by going knuckle first, then in between my knuckle, on a knuckle, and then in between. So each month I count on a knuckle has 31 days. So for example, January, February, March, April, May, June, July, and I'll go on to a knuckle, August, September, October, November, December. Now each one of those on a knuckle has 31 days. Second question, there are blank months in half a year. Now we know there are 12 months in a year. So all you need to do is 12 divided by 2, and that will get you 6 months. So there are 6 months in half a year. Now for the final question, there are blank days in 5 weeks, 3 days. Now there are 7 days in 1 week. So first calculation you're going to do 7 times 5, which gets you 35, but then don't forget about 3 days here, so you need to add 3 days equals 38. There are 38 days in 5 weeks and 3 days. Now for the second question, this time you need to circle the true statements. These are the 3 statements here. There are 17 days in 3 weeks. There are 24 months in 2 years. There are 50 weeks in 1 year. Which one do you think is true? Have a go yourself and I'll come through the answer in a moment. Now, let's work out each of these statements. So first of all, there are 17 days in 3 weeks. Now we know there are 7 days in 1 week. So let's do 7 times 3. That gets us to 21. So that one cannot be 3. Let's look at the next one. There are 24 months in 2 years. How many months are in 1 year? Well, we've got 12 months in 1 year. So let's do 12 times 2. Well, that 24. So this one here is correct. Now with these PowerPoints, sometimes they like to trick us. So let's just check this last one here. This is why it was important to write those 3 sentences at the start. So this says 50 weeks in 1 year. If you look back to the first slide, it actually says there are 52 weeks in 1 year. So that one would be wrong. So this statement here, the second statement, is the one that is true. For your third question, you need to match the durations. Now, durations just means a length of time. So one thing on this column here will match with this column over here. So first of all, let's have a look at 28 days. Now, would it match to 14 days because they're different durations? We can have a look. Does 28 days equal 1.5 years? Well, we know there are 365 days in 1 year, so that wouldn't match. So it should match to this one here. But let's just check. With mathematicians, we like to check. So let's do 28, divide that by 7, which gives us 4. So 28 days is the same as 4 weeks. Now have a go at the next 2 questions. Pause the video here and I'll come back to you in a moment with the answers. Okay, next of all, let's have a look at 2 weeks. Again, we know that 52 weeks equals 1 year, so it cannot match with that one. So it should match this one here. But again, with mathematicians, we like to check. So there are 7 days in 1 week, times that by 2, That will get us 14 days. And finally, doing a bit of process of elimination, 18 months is the same as 1.5 years. But like I said, mathematicians, we do like to check. So there are 12 months in 1 year. And then there are another 6, what we learned from our previous question, in half a year. Add them together and you get 18 months. The fourth question, I would like to circle the longest duration. So you've got 1 month, 3 days, 2 weeks. Have a go first, and then I'll tell you what the answer is. So first of all, I would change all these into days to help me out which one is the longest duration. So 2 weeks, we know is 14 days because there are 7 days a week. Times that by 2. We already have 3 days here. Now 1 month can either be 28, 30, or 31 days. 29 days on a leap year. February, of course. So we can clearly see that it's more than 14. So we can see that 1 month is the longest duration. For your fifth question, you're going to be doing some problem solving, and you need to find out how old is Alex. Here's the information they've given you. So Mitt is 8 years and 11 months old. Jerry is 5 months older than Mitt, and Alex is 6 months younger than Jerry. So have a go yourself first, and then I'll give you an answer and show you the way I worked out. You may have done something different at home, but let's see if our answers are still the same. First of all, you know that Mitt is 8 years and 11 months old. Jerry is 5 months older than Mitt, so you need to add those two amounts together. So I would break it down to make it easier for myself. I'll just add 1 month on first to make 9 years, and you've got 4 months left. So you know that Jerry is 9 years and 4 months. I'm just going to write it like that: 9 years, 4 months. Alex is 6 months younger than Jerry. So now from this number here, we need to take away 6 months. Again, breaking it down, I would take away 2 months, 4 months away first, which leaves you with 2 months left over. So that would be 8 years and 10 months would be how old Alex is. Alex is 8 years, 10 months old. So just remind how I did that. I took away 4 first to make it into the 8, and then I did 12, take away 2, which got me the 10 months. For your second to last question, you're going to be doing a bit more problem solving, so let's work this one out together. So George is going camping. He starts his trip on the 28th of March. Now, that's a key piece of information, so I'm going to highlight that straight away. He camps for 2 weeks in Cornwall, then for 5 days in Devon. What date does he finish camping? Let's have a go yourself at home. Then I'll go through how I worked out the answer. Okay, first of all, George here goes for 2 weeks in Cornwall. So you can either count on 14 days or you can count down the weeks. So I would go, this would be 1 week as there's no day here, and this would be 2 weeks. So he would finish his camping in Cornwall on the 11th, but then he camps for 5 more days. This is where I'll do counting on. So I'll go 1, 2, 3, 4. Then I'll go to the next week, 5. So he would actually finish his camping on the 16th of April. Well done, you got that at home. And for our final question, we're going to do a bit of reasoning. Erica and Elijah are discussing weeks. Elijah says there are 49 days in 7 weeks. Erica says there are 50 days in 7 weeks. Who is correct? Explain why. Now have a go at home and make sure you include the explanation about who is correct, which is really important for a reasoning question. Now, let's go through the answer. First of all, let's look at Elijah and what he says here. So he says there are 49 days in 7 weeks. So as we know, there are 7 days in 1 week. Let's do a bit of division. So 49, which is our total number of days, divided by 7, because that's how many days there are in a week, will equal how many weeks there are. So 49 divided by 7 is 7. So judging by what Elijah says, Elijah at the moment is correct. But because we're mathematicians and these slides do like to trick us, let's just check Erica and see what she has said. Erica said there are 50 days in 7 weeks. So let's do the same calculation we've done up here, which would be 50 divided by 7. Now, as we know, that 7 times 7 is 49, so we know it's going to be 7 weeks, but we've got 1 day left over, so remainder 1 day. So we can see that Elijah is correct because he's correctly said there are 49 days in 7 weeks. Erica is wrong. Elijah is correct. Brilliant. Now, time for you to move on to your challenge worksheet. Let your teacher know if you are having any problems with any questions, just give them a quick email and we will see you again soon. Have a great rest of your day.